Good morning. Good morning, students. I am Ashok Kumar Aggarwal, Academic Counselor, IGNOU. Today we are studying MMPC 016, International Business Management. Block 3, Strategies of International Business. Unit 9, Strategic Alliances. Strategic alliances are voluntary agreements between two firms or more to share capabilities, resources, or expertise with the aim of enhancing competitive advantages or achieving mutually beneficial business objectives. You see, the main objective is to, profit. You see, sharing of, then they will share the profit. You see, to earn the maximum profit and then share it. These alliances can be local, you see, global, depending on the expansion and diversification plans of the organizations involved. See, within the same country also, there can be alliances. Say, one party is in Delhi, another party is in Bombay, Calcutta, Bangalore, Madras. So they join together. Or you see, other party can be in abroad also. Say one is in Delhi, another is in USA. They are particularly common in the industries like auto components, you see, motor parts, scooter parts, textiles, and food processing. So which are the main common, you see, industries? Auto components, textiles, and you see, food processing. You see, for example, you see, radiator cap in auto components, radiator cap. Suppose in some other country, you see, it is available at a very cheaper price. You see, a company in our, you see, India will have a, you see, alliance with that company abroad. So they both can do, you see, better. So alliances can be local or global, depending on the expansion, you see, and diversification plans of the organizations involved. They are particularly common in industries like auto components, textile and food processing. A notable example is the collaboration between Maruti, Government of India, and Suzuki Motor Company, which successfully combined resources to dominate the Indian automotive market. Say, they have given an example in this. You see, Maruti, owned by Government of India, and another company is, you see, Suzuki Motor Company, which successfully combined resources to dominate the Indian automotive, you see, market. So here we are having an example. So example is the collaboration between Maruti, Government of India, and Suzuki Motor Company, which successfully combined resources to dominate the Indian, you see, automotive market. Another example is the BrahMos missile system, a result of the strategic alliance between India and Russia, which has provided significant strategic and business gains for both the nations. So, another example is the BrahMos missile system, a result of the strategic alliance between India and Russia, which has provided significant strategic and business gains for both nations. The need for, now what is the need for strategic alliance? the need for strategic alliance arises from various factors, you see, including risk sharing. You see, risk will be shared between the two, you see, companies. Economies of scale, large scale production will be at large scale, the cost price will come out to will be reduced. Speed of action, learning new skills, exploring new business opportunities, and assessing restricted markets. For instance, Apollo Hospitals alliance with Kenyatta National Hospital and Airtel Africa in Kenya exemplifies, you see, risk sharing and market expansion. So, the need for strategic alliance arises from various factors, including risk sharing, economies of scale, speed of action, learning new skills, exploring new business opportunities, and assessing restricted, you see, markets. For example, Apollo Hospitals alliance with, you see, Kenyatta National Hospital and Airtel Africa in Kenya exemplifies, you see, risk sharing and market expansion. Strategic alliances are defined as voluntary agreements between firms for exchanging, sharing, or co-developing products, technologies, or services. These alliances are business-oriented collaborations aimed at gaining competitive advantages and extending ownership solutions. They can be broadly categorized into two types. So, strategic alliances are defined as voluntary agreements between firms for exchanging, sharing, or co-developing products, technologies, or services. These alliances are business-oriented collaborations aimed at gaining competitive advantages and extending ownership, you see, solutions. They can be broadly classified into two types. Now, which are those types? First type is contractual alliance. Contract, you see, contractual means contract. Contractual alliances, these include co-marketing, research and development contracts, turnkey projects, strategic suppliers, strategic distributors, and licensing, franchising. These alliances require lower commitments and have a limited scope. So, the first is contractual alliances. These include co-marketing, research and development contracts, turnkey projects, strategic suppliers, strategic, you see, distributors, and licensing, franchising. These alliances require lower commitments and have a limited scope. Equity-based alliances, these involve higher commitments and include strategic investments, cross-shareholding, and joint ventures. An example is the joint venture between Rolls-Royce and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to manufacture parts for Adore engines under India's Make in India program. So, next is equity-based alliance. You see how much money they are, you see, investing, how much is the equity. These involve higher commitments and include strategic investments, cross-shareholding, and joint ventures. An example is a joint venture between Rolls-Royce and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, you see, to manufacture parts for Adore, you see, engines under India's Make in India program. three key considerations that influence our first key consideration is industry based view. Focuses on collaboration among rivals, entry barriers, and vertical alliances with suppliers or buyers. Number two is resource based view, emphasizes the value, rarity, immutability, and organization. So we write it as VRIO. V stands for value, R stands for rarity, I stands for immutability, and O stands for organization. VRIO framework to assess the potential of alliances. Next point is institution based view. It considers formal regulatory frameworks and informal norms that shape alliance formation and operation. Now, types of strategic alliances. Which are the types of, how many types of strategic alliances are there? First is coalition, an alliance of competitors, distributors, and suppliers in the same industry. Pooling resources to gain a better hold of global markets. For example, the Star Alliance network in the airlines industry. So industry should be same. For alliance, same product. Both maybe manufacturing. So coalition, an alliance of competitors, distributors, and suppliers in the same industry. Earlier they were competitors, now they are having, they are alliance partners. An alliance of competitors, distributors, and suppliers in the same industry, pooling resources to gain a better hold of global markets. For example, the Star Alliance network in the airlines industry. Next type is co-specialization. Partners contribute unique assets or competencies to develop new products or technologies. The example is the collaboration between India and Japan to develop the 5th and 6th generation communication technologies, mobiles, communication technologies. So, next is co-specialization. Partners contribute unique assets or competencies to develop new products or technologies. An example is the collaboration between India and Japan to co-develop 5th and 6th, generation communication technologies. Learning enhance, formed for know-how transfers, particularly knowledge sharing. For instance, Honda's investment in General Motors autonomous vehicle unit, cruise automation, aimed at learning futuristic technologies. So alliance, next type is alliance, learning, alliance. In this learning alliance, it is formed for know-how transfers, particularly knowledge sharing. For instance, Honda's investment in General Motors autonomous vehicle unit, cruise automation, aimed at learning futuristic technologies. Next type is equity alliances, joint ventures where firms pool resources in a separate jointly owned organization. Next type of strategic alliances, minority equity alliances. One partner makes a minority investment in another, often seen in high-tech industries like telecommunications and biotechnology. Next type of alliances, non-equity alliances include licensing, joint research and development, and joint marketing efforts without equity exchange. strategic value of alliances, you see, the strategic value of alliances lies in their ability to create and capture value for the partners involved. The value created by an alliance can be assessed through revenues generation from sales, you see, volume, or differentiated, you see, pricing, future revenues or cost benefits from joint research and development, economies of scale and scope. So, the strategic value of alliances lies in their ability to create and capture value for the partners involved. The value created by an alliance can be, you see, assessed through revenues generated from sales, volume, or differentiated, you see, pricing, future revenues or cost benefits from joint research and development, economies of scale and scope. Now, revenue based, you see, consideration, then industry based consideration, and third one is, you see, this strategic alliances and, you see, networks formation, evaluation, performance. So, under resource based consideration, we see value added must, you see, outweigh cost. Next is rarity of relational, you see, capabilities and desirable partners. Third point is imitability of firm specific and relationship specific capabilities. Fourth point is, you see, organization of alliance activities in the firm and relationship levels. Under industry based considerations, collaboration among rivals, entry barriers scaled by alliances, upstream downstream vertical alliance with supplier bias, alliances and network to provide substitute products and services, you see. Now next is, you see, strategic alliances and networks formation, evaluation, performance. Under this we see institution based considerations, formal regulatory pillar, informal normative pillar, and informal cognitive pillar. Next is alliance management, you see. Effective alliance management involves five key stages. The first key stage is, you see, partner assessment, analyzing potential partners' strengths, weaknesses, and strategic capability. Next point is contract negotiation, defining objectives, contributions, and legal structures. Next point is alliance operation, ensuring senior management commitment and resource allocation. Next point is alliance termination, winding up the alliance upon meeting or, you see, failing objectives. Next point is implementation and management, addressing integration, cooperation, and learning. Partner analysis is critical and includes strategic fit, compatibility of partners' objectives, capabilities fit, complementary resources, and value chain contributions. Next one is cultural fit, alignment of, you see, corporate, industry, and national cultures. Organizational fit, compatibility of structures, systems, and procedures. Negotiation and design involve, you see, legal structures and decision making mechanisms, task integration and human resource issues, value distribution and, you see, conflict resolution mechanism. Implementation focuses on integration, cooperation, and learning. Partners can learn about the business, tasks, and each other's expectations and capabilities, which is vital for long-term successes. So, strategic alliances differ from mergers and acquisitions in that they, you see, involve collaboration without loss of strategic or autonomy. Now, for example, mergers in our country, banks are merging, you see. We have seen in State Bank subsidiaries, you see, merged. State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Travancore, State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of Hyderabad. All these were earlier subsidiaries of State Bank. All of them are, you see, merged with State Bank of India. Now we will not find any branch of State Bank of Hyderabad, only State Bank. That branch is known as State Bank of India. So they make only one, you see, balance sheet, you see, and because of computerization it is possible, otherwise it is not possible, you see, and their business, you see, of the combining the business of all the subsidiaries, it has increased. Similarly, Oriental Bank merged with Punjab National Bank, New Bank of India merged with Punjab National Bank, Hindustan Commercial Bank merged with Punjab National Bank, you see, and you see, recently now government wants only, you see, 5-6 big banks. They want banks like banks in America, you see. One big bank, you see, like a bank in America, having so much, lot of, you see, business, because it is possible only due to this computerization. So government is, you see, doing that. Government owned banks, you see, government is merging them, and they will have, government will have 5-6 banks in future in our country, and those will be big banks, you see, big banks, like, you see, USA banks. So strategic alliances differ from mergers and acquisitions in that they involve collaboration without loss of strategic autonomy. They are essential for firms entering new markets or industries, offering benefits like risk sharing, cost reduction, and access to new technologies. The success of an alliance depends on factors such as strategic fit, cultural alignment, and effective management. Now we come on, you see, unit 10, that is international marketing. Now, international marketing involves the exchange of goods, services, and ideas across national borders, you see, adapting marketing principles to diverse global markets. Unlike domestic marketing, it requires understanding economic, socio-cultural, technological, and legal differences between countries. So, international marketing involves the exchange of goods, services, and ideas across national borders, adapting marketing principles to diverse global markets. Unlike domestic marketing, it requires understanding economic, socio-cultural, technological, and legal differences between countries. The shift, you see, toward globalization has made international marketing essential, with production moving to low-cost centers like China and India, leading to the internationalization of supply chains. So, the shift toward globalization has made international marketing essential, with production moving to low-cost centers like China and India, you see, leading to the internationalization of supply chains. Key drivers of international marketing are, you see, liberalization of markets, you see, reduced trade barriers, tax advantages, that is firms setting up in tax havens like Singapore, free trade agreements, that is, you see, EU, ASEAN, growth in market share, you see, expanding beyond saturated domestic markets. So, the key drivers of international marketing are liberalization of markets, tax advantages, free trade agreements, growth in the market share. So, under liberalization of markets, you see, reduce trade barriers, tax advantages, that is firms setting up in tax havens like, you see, Singapore, free trade agreements, that is EU, ASEAN. Then growth in, you see, market share, that is expanding beyond, you see, saturated domestic markets. Key drivers in international market, you see, it is continued, that is technology and communication, then cultural exchanges, then improved logistics. So under technology and communication, we see e-commerce, digital platforms. Under cultural exchanges, we see Indian products in Gulf countries due to, you see, diaspora. Next is improved logistics, you see, that is faster and cheaper shipping. Now challenges, what are the challenges? You see, challenges are, you see, technological disruptions, global competition, consumer expectations, regulatory complexities. So under technological disruptions, we see e-commerce competition. Under global competition, we see local versus global brands. Under consumer expectations, we see demand for quality, customization. Under regulatory complexities, we see trade laws, tariffs. Now international versus domestic marketing, you see, under domestic, a company is selling tea in India, focuses on local tastes, you see, and international, the same company modifies, you see, flavors for the British or Middle Eastern, you see, markets, because they are having different tastes, so the company just want to promote sales, you see, so it will add flavors for them of their taste. Now, key differences are, you see, first is factor, domestic marketing, international marketing. Under factor, first factor is market segmentation. Domestic market, single market with sub-segments. You see, international marketing, multiple markets with varying sub-segments. Next point is market control. In domestic marketing, easier due to uniform regulations. International marketing, complex due to cultural, legal and political differences. Third point is product adaptation, you see, under domestic marketing, standardized for local preferences. Under international marketing, requires customization, that is McDonald's, you see, menus. You see, here they will have, you see, this burger and all that, vegetarian, more burgers will be sold in our country, whereas in America, non-vegetarian, you see, burgers will be sold. Next is pricing strategy, you see, domestic marketing based on local competition and cost. International marketing influenced by exchange rates, tariffs and purchasing power. Next is promotion. Under domestic market, single message for the entire market. Under international marketing, cultural tailored campaigns, that is, you see, Coca-Cola's, you see, regional ads. Then next market is distribution, you see, well established, you see, logistics. International marketing, you see, requires local partnerships, that is, you see, Amazon's global supply chain. Reasons for entering international markets. Now, what are the reason why a person wants to sell their products, you see, abroad? Firms expand globally for profitability. Naturally, any business, you see, it is done for earning profit. Then the partners, they think that how we can increase the profit. So profitability, higher revenues from untapped markets. You see, those, you see, markets where those products never went. You see, now they will enter there. Growth, emerging markets, that is Asia, Africa, offer expansion opportunities. Third one is economies of scale. Larger production reduces, you see, per unit costs. Next is, you see, reasons for entering international markets are, you see, risk diversification, reduces dependence on a single economy. Access to resources, cheaper raw materials or skilled labor. Product life cycle expansion, a declining product in one, you see, market may thrive in another. So a declining product in one market may thrive in another. Now EPRG framework, international market, you see, orientation. Orientation on, there are three, you see, columns. Orientation on, description, example. Orientation on, you see, ethnocentric, you see, home market strategies applied globally with minimal adaptation. This is description. And example is Patanjali is selling Ayurvedic products globally without major changes. You see, same product goes, changes are not much. You see. Next is, you see, polycentric, you see, tailored strategies for each country. You see, they make different products for each country. Apollo hospitals customizing services for Middle East versus you see Africa. Next is region centric, you see, strategies designed for a group of similar countries. And example is Mahindra setting up, you see, regional hubs in Africa and the US. Next one is geocentric, you see, truly global approach with standardized, you see, yet locally adaptable, you see, strategies. Example is Unilever's, you see, global strategy, that is global brands, local flavors. Now, modes of entry into international markets. Which are the modes of entry? First is export import, you see, basic trade, that is Coromandel, you see, international exporting pesticides, you see. Next is subsidiaries, fully owned foreign operations, that is Coca-Cola, India. You can have a subsidiary there. Third one is joint ventures, you see, shared ownership, that is BrahMos, Aerospace, India and Russia. So modes of entry, we have seen 3 modes of entry here in this slide. Next, you see, mode of entry is franchising, you see. Local partners run operations, that is McDonald's. Then licensing, allowing foreign firms to use, you see, IP, that is Mahindra, Renault, you see, partnership, cars, you see. Next mode is strategic, you see, alliances, collaborations without equity, that is TVS and BMW for electric bikes. Then greenfield operations, building from scratch, that is Samsung's Noida, you see, plant. Now, international consumer behavior. Consumer behavior varies due to, you see, cultural factors, that is religion, traditions, economic conditions, purchasing power, you see, inflation, price rising. Then legal and political environment, you see, trade laws, stability. Then next is, you see, technology and infrastructure, e-commerce, penetration, logistics. So, consumer behavior varies due to cultural factors, economic conditions, legal and political environment, you see. Say for example, Pakistan political environment, nobody will like to do business, you see, with Pakistan. Then next is technology and infrastructure. Selecting international markets and distribution channels, you see, market selection criteria. Now, what is the criteria for selecting the market? Which market you should enter? Economic growth rate, political stability, you see, competition and legal barriers. Now, what is the economic growth rate in that market? Then political, whether that country is politically stable or not. Then competition, how is the competition? Then what are the legal, you see, rules, legal barriers, what are the rules and regulations of in that country? So, example is a technical firm may prioritize the United States and EU over restrictive markets. Then selecting international markets and distribution channels, export consortia, group of firms, you see, collaborating, that is Textile Exporters Alliance. Then canalizing, you see, agencies, government designated exporters, that is MMTC for metals. Merchant exporters, third party traders, direct exports, selling straight to foreign buyers, higher profits, more risk. Overseas sales agents, local representatives handling sales. Steps for successful exporting are, you see, obtain importer-exporter code from DGECFT. Register with Export Promotion Council, that is April Export Promotion Council. identify buyers, trade fairs, directories, you see, digital platforms, search the buyers, negotiate contracts, pricing, incoterms like you see free on board, cost, insurance, freight, then arrange logistics, shipping insurance, customs clearing, shipping bill of lading, documentation, commercial invoice, certificate of origin, payment relation, letter of credit, you see bank relation certificate, claim export benefits, duty drawbacks, tax refunds, etc. These are all the steps for successful exporting. Obtain I importer exporter code, register with Export Promotion Council, identify buyers, negotiate you see contracts, arrange logistics, then custom clearance, then documentation, then payment relation, then claim export benefits. So international market requires adapting to diverse markets. Firms enter global markets for growth, risk diversification and economies of scale. Entry strategies range from exports to you see joint ventures and subsidiaries. Consumer behavior is you see shaped by culture, economy and regulations. Successful exporting involves meticulous planning, documentation and compliance. Now we come on unit 11, that is international finance, money. International finance is a critical field that examines the dynamics of exchange rates, foreign investment and their impact on you see global trade. It encompasses various aspects such as you see exchange rate mechanisms, capital flows, trade deficits and surpluses, and financial instruments like you see forwards, futures and swaps. So international finance is a critical field that examines the dynamics of exchange rates. Now exchange rate, suppose you see today you have received order for you see say 500 shirts from USA, and you have quoted you see each shirt you see say $1, $2 or $5, and today dollar and rupee rate is you see some rate is there, but when you will get the payment the rate will be you see may not be the same. So international finance is critical field that examines the dynamics of exchange rates, foreign investment and their impact on global trade. It encompasses various aspects such as exchange rate mechanism, capital flows, trade deficits and surpluses, and financial instruments like forwards, futures and swaps. Key drivers of globalization in finance are you see reduced trade barriers, that is tariffs and quotas, then technological advancements, you see digital banking, blockchain, integration of financial markets, that is cross-border mergers. So key drivers of globalization in finance are reduced trade barriers, that is tariffs and quotas, technological advancements, that is digital banking, blockchain, integration of financial markets, that is cross-border mergers. Global financial system. The global financial system consists of institutions that regulate and facilitate you see cross-border financial transactions. Key players include the International Monetary Fund, which provides loans to stabilize you see economies and monitors global financial stability as seen during Greece's 2008 crisis. So the global financial system consists of institutions that regulate and facilitate cross-border financial transactions. Key players include International Monetary Fund, which you see provides loans to stabilize economies and monitors global financial stability as seen during Greece's 2008 crisis. The World Bank you see funds development projects such as infrastructure in Africa, while the World Trade Organization ensures fair trade practices and resolve disputes like the US EU Airbus subsidiaries case. A notable tool in this system in the IMF's special drawing rights, which act as a reserve currency for member nations, providing liquidity during economic crisis. So the World Bank funds development projects in our country also. It has funded so many projects. The World Bank funds development projects such as infrastructure in Africa, while the World Trade Organization ensures fair trade practices and resolve disputes like the US EU Airbus subsidiaries case. A notable tool in this system is the IMF's International Monetary Fund special drawing rights which act as a reserve currency for member nations, providing liquidity during economic crisis. International monetary system. The international monetary system has evolved significantly over time. The classic gold standard, pegged currencies to gold, ensuring stability but limiting money supply and causing deflation. So the international monetary system has evolved significantly over time. The classic gold standard pegged, it was gold standard was 1821 to 1914, pegged currencies to gold, ensuring stability but limiting more supply and causing deflation. So what was this system, the classic gold system? How much 10 grams of gold cost in USA, how much it will cost in India, how much it will cost in any other country. So then whatever is the price, those prices were they were equaling. See, the cost of 10 grams of gold in our country, that amount, that rupees is equal to the cost of 10 grams gold in USA dollars. So many rupees are equal to so many dollars. So what is the cost of $1? Like that they used to find out. So the international monetary system has evolved significantly over time. The classic gold standards 1821 to 1914 pegged currencies to gold, ensuring stability but limiting more supply and causing deflation. The Britain's wood system 1944 to 71 replaced this by pegging the US dollar to gold and other currencies to the US dollar. However, it collapsed due to US inflation from the Vietnam War and resistance from countries like Japan to US dollar depreciation. Since 1971, the world has operated upon a floating exchange rate system where currency values fluctuate based on market forces. This era has witnessed crises like the 1997 Asian financial crisis, currency devaluations, and the 2008 subprime crisis, global liquidity crunch, highlighting the need for robust monetary policies. So, international monetary system, since 1971, the world has operated upon a floating exchange rate system where currency value fluctuates based on market forces. This era has witnessed crises like the 1997 Asian financial crisis, currency devaluations, and the 2008 subprime crisis, global liquidity crunch, highlighting the need for robust monetary policies. International flow of funds and balance of payments. The balance of payments is a comprehensive record of a country's economic transactions with the world. It includes the trade account, goods, export, imports, current account, services and remittance, capital account, FDI, loans, and financial account, changes in reserves. So the balance of payment is a comprehensive record of a country's, economic transactions with the world, with the rest of the world. It includes the trade account. In trade account we take goods, exports, imports. In current account we take, you see, services, then remittances, transfer of money from one country to another. In capital account we take, you see, FDI and loans, and financial account we take, you see, changes in reserves. Now, balance of payment, a record of all economic transactions between a country and the rest of the world. You see, there are 3 columns: component, description, example. First component is trade account. In this, goods, export, imports are, you see, taken into account. So, India's software exports to the United States. Second is current account. Under current account, services, that is tourism, remittances, unilateral, you see, transfers. India's workers' remittance, you see, from UAE, you see, all those people who are working in UAE, they remit money to their family every month. Then third one is capital account, you see, FDI, portfolio investments, you see, loans. Example, Toyota's, you see, factory investment in India. The next is, you see, financial account. Under this, you see, changes. It means financial account, you see, changes in foreign reserves, that is gold, SDRs, you see. And example is RBI's US dollar reserve, you see, management. Next is, you see, foreign exchange market, Forex, you see. The Forex, you see, market facilitates currency exchange and is divided into spot market, immediate transactions at current rates, and forward market, future contracts to lock in rates, and derivatives market, you see, futures. Under derivatives we see futures, options, and swaps. So the foreign market facilitates, you see, currency exchange and is divided into spot market, immediate transaction at current rate, forward market, future contracts to lock in rates, and derivatives market, that is futures, options, and swaps. Foreign exchange market, you see, major participants include commercial banks, you see, for example, HSBC, then corporations hedging foreign risks, and central banks. Central bank means, like in our bank, each country is having a central bank. Like in our country, the central bank is Reserve Bank of India, which controls all the banks. And commercial banks, in our country, commercial banks are State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank. All these banks are commercial banks, you see. For example, an Indian exporter might use forward contract to hedge against US dollar depreciation, ensuring predictable, you see, revenues. The forex market operates 24/7 with the interbank market serving as the core platform for large scale, you see, currency trades. So the example is, an Indian exporter might use forward contracts to hedge, you see, against US dollar depreciation, ensuring predictable revenue. You see, if he suppose today only, you see, he has booked a forward contract, so he knows this much, you see, rate I am going to get, you see, for dollar. So an Indian exporter might use, you see, forward contract to hedge, you see, against US dollar depreciation, ensuring predictable revenue. The forex market operates 24/7 with the interbank market serving as the core platform for large scale currency trades. Now, foreign exchange market, you see, key players are commercial banks, corporations, central banks. Commercial banks we have discussed, you see, Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, Citibank. In our country, commercial banks are State Bank of India, then Bank of India, Central Bank of India, Union Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, you see, there are so many, you see, banks. Then corporations, you see, hedging, you see, forex risks. Then central banks, you see, intervention to stabilize currency. Central bank, in our country, Reserve Bank of India. Now, An Indian exporter uses forward contracts to hedge against US, dollar depreciation. Now, currency fluctuations pose risk to international, businesses, necessitating hedging strategies. For hedging, minimizes risk by covering all exposures, but offers low returns, while selective, hedging balances risk and reward for covering, only critical exposures. Speculative strategies, involve high risk bets on currency movements for potentially high, rewards. So, currency fluctuations pose risks to international businesses, necessitating hedging strategies. Full hedging minimizes, risk by covering all exposures, but offers low returns, while selective hedging, balances risk and reward by covering only, critical exposures. Speculative strategies involve high risk bets on currency movements for potentially high rewards. Tools like, forward contracts, customized as OTC, agreements, over the counter. OTC means over the counter. Futures, standardized, exchange traded contracts, and options, flexible rights to buy, sell, help manage, these risks. For instance, Apple Inc. uses currency swaps to mitigate, euro, Japanese yen volatility, protecting its profit, margins. So, tools like, forward contracts, customized over the counter agreements, futures, standardized, exchange traded contracts, and options, flexible rights to buy, sell, help manage, these risks. For instance, Apple Inc. uses currency swaps to mitigate, euro, Japanese volatility, protecting, its profit margins. Now, hedging strategies, we see this table, the columns are strategy, risk reward, and example. Now, first strategy is full hedging, risk reward is low risk, low reward. Example is hedging 100% of exposure via futures. Second strategy is selective, hedging, risk award is moderate risk reward. And example is hedging only 50% of, exposure. Third is speculative. Speculative means, risk reward is high risk, high reward. And example is betting on currency, appreciation. So, hedging strategies, we see in this table. There are three columns, strategy, risk reward, and example. Now, first strategy is full hedging, risk reward is low risk, low reward. Example is hedging 100% of exposure via futures. Second strategy is selective hedging, risk reward is moderate risk reward. Example is hedging only 50% of exposure. Third strategy is speculative, risk reward is high risk, high reward. An example is betting on currency appreciation. Now, foreign investment, foreign investment comes in two forms, that is foreign direct investment, FDI, and foreign portfolio investment, FPI. FDI involves, long-term investments like greenfield projects, that is Tesla's Gigafactory, in Germany, or mergers and acquisitions, that is Walmart's purchase of, Flipkart. So, next we are studying foreign investment. Foreign investment comes in two forms, foreign direct investment, FDI, and foreign portfolio investment, FPI. FDI involves, long-term investments like greenfield projects, that is Tesla's Gigafactory in Germany, or mergers and acquisitions, that is Walmart's purchase of Flipkart. FPI includes, short-term investment in stocks, bonds, that is, FDI benefits host countries through job creation and technology transfers, that is Samsung in Vietnam, while home countries gain from profit repatriation, that is US firms in China. However, over reliance on FDI can be, you see, risky, as seen is in Venezuela's, you see, oil dependent economy. So in foreign investment we see FPI includes short term investment in stocks, bonds, that is, you see, FDI benefits host countries through job creation and technology transfer, that is Samsung in Vietnam, while home countries, you see, gain from profit repatriation, that is US firms in China. However, over reliance on FDI can be, you see, risky, as seen in Venezuela's, you see, oil dependent economy. Terms of payment in international trade. International trade relies on secure payment methods, each with varying risk levels. Payment in advance is safest, you see, for exporters but risk for importers, often used for high value goods like machinery. Letters of credit governed by UCP DC 600 rules balance, you see, risk by involving banks to, you see, guarantee payment upon document, you see, submission. So terms of payment in international trade, you see, international trade relies on secure payment methods, each with varying, you see, risk levels. Payment in advance is, you see, safest for exporters but risky for, you see, importers, often used for, you see, high value goods like machinery. Letters of credit governed by UCP DC 600 rules balance risk by involving, you see, banks to guarantee payment upon document submission. Terms of payment in international trade are documentary collections, that is documents against payment or documents against acceptance, offer moderate risk, while open accounts are risky for exporters but convenient for trusted partners, that is IKEA and its suppliers. Terms of payment in international trade. For example, an Indian farmer exporter might use a confirmed letter of credit to ensure payment from a new African, you see, buyer, reducing non-payment risks. Key terms are UCP DC 600, ICC rules for governing letter of credits, SWIFT network for secure letter of credit transmission. Why SWIFT? We send the messages through SWIFT. You see, LC. What is LC means? Suppose you are, you see, exporting. Now you are not, how can you be sure about the payment? If the importer's bank, you see, writes to you or your banker that if the order is made by you as per, if the goods are exported by you as per the order, you see, if everything is okay, we take the responsibility of payment. So this is what is letter of credit. Then you will naturally, now you are having a, you see, letter of credit, so you will make the production and export the, you see, say 500 shirts you have got a order, you will export the shirts. SWIFT is, it is a, you see, message transmission, you see, machine. Then payment methods are, in this there are 4 columns: method, risk to exporter, risk to importer. Example, first method is payment in advance, there is low risk to exporter, there is high risk to importer. Example is 50% advance for custom machinery. Next method is letter of credit, you see, there is medium risk to exporter, there is low risk to importer. Irrevocable letter of credit for textile exports. Irrevocable means which cannot be revoked, which cannot be cancelled. Next is documentary collection, you see, high documents against acceptance, high risk to exporter, you see, medium risk to importer, documents against payment. Documents, then example is documents against payment for automotive parts. Fourth is open account, you see, very high risk to exporter, low risk to importer, and example is trusted partners, that is IKEA supplier. Now we come on the summary. International finance is a multifaceted, you see, field covering global financial transactions, you see, exchange rate mechanisms, then risk management and trade payments. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank play pivotal roles in maintaining, you see, stability, while the forex markets, you see, enable seamless, you see, currency exchanges. balance of payment, you see, tracks balance of payment. You see, we always say that, you see, it is exports minus imports. You see, our exports should be, you see, more than, you see, imports, so that we will always have, you see, foreign exchange, foreign currency will always have. So balance of payment tracks a country's economic health, and hedging strategies protect businesses from currency risks. Then foreign direct investment, FDI and FPI drive global growth, but require, you see, careful regulation. And next is, you see, trade payment methods, you see, like LC's, letter of credit, and advance payments ensure secure transactions. We have already discussed letter of credit means, you see, importers bank writes to the exporters bank or exporter that we take the guarantee of the payment if the order is met out as per the terms and conditions. So that it is a very safe, you see. So exporter will start the manufacturing, and he will send the consignment, and then he will get the money. So finally, trade payments methods like LCs and advance payments ensure secure transactions. Understanding these concepts is essential for navigating the complexities of global finance, from mitigating risks to capitalizing, you see, on international opportunities. So students, thank you very much. We are closing this session. Thank you very much.